Welcome to Your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 363. If you're writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing your book at some point, but you're having trouble finishing it, or perhaps you're at the stage where you need help reaching more readers to let them know about your book, you are in the right place. Good morning. Happy Writer Wednesday. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh. If you're looking for me online, Christine Inc., I-N-K, especially on social media. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 18 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that 3 things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they have the ability to turn a quote-unquote non-author into a published one. Those 3 things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. Here's today's quote. There's a difference between interest and commitment. When you're interested in doing something, you do it only when it's convenient. When you're committed to something, you accept no excuses, only results. Kenneth Blanchard. Once again, good morning and happy Writer Wednesday. As many of you probably know by now, we're many weeks into it, I think. I have a Writer Wednesday series. So every Wednesday here on the show, I'm giving you some of the highlights of my process of developing and writing books. And the best news is I'm doing it in the most actionable way possible. So rather than giving you a ton of details and content that might be hard to consume, especially in the format of our daily show here, which on average we're maybe about 5 to 7 minutes long every day, what I do is I pose 3 questions for each topic. So I reveal one piece of my book development and writing process and then, deliver it to you via 3 questions or action exercises so you can get to work writing your book, which is the most important thing. Sound like a plan? Here we go. Today's topic is the mindset one, tapping into your identity as an author, which also means believing in yourself and your ability to write a book, owning your new role as an author. Here is activity, we'll just call it activity number 1. Think about all the aspects of an author. Everything from storytelling to imagination, of course, and enjoyment of writing, wanting to share ideas with others, all the other things that make an author an author. Rather than trying to suddenly take on the identity of author. See, that word might be intimidating to some of you. Author. I don't know if I'm an author. I don't have a book yet. Am I an author? Especially if you're writing your first book and you really don't have much to show for it except a Word document in progress, which to you might not really feel like author. It might feel like a person with a Word document. I get it. All authors have been a first-time author at some point, by the way. We've all started in the same place. But rather than trying to take on that whole huge identity outright, is there just one aspect of this new role, this new identity, that you really relate to, that you could own? So it could be just you're a great storyteller, or you have a fantastic imagination, or as a nonfiction author, you have just this really great idea that you feel compelled to share with others or a part of your personal story. There's just one piece of being an author that you're super passionate about. Start by owning that. So don't even worry about owning the whole identity of author. Start by owning that and let the rest of your new identity as author form around it. Number 2. Now, when I learn something new and I'm feeling really unsure of myself, like when I first took up the circus arts a few years ago and I had no idea what I was doing. I still kind of sometimes feel like I don't. I had no prior training. I've never dancing or gymnastics or cheerleading. I was always the intellectual geek in high school. So I never did anything with my body. And now, I'm going to do Cirque du Soleil. So when I'm, totally out of my element like that, I find that taking action is the remedy for insecurity. Or as one of my clients says, repetition is the preparation for success. Keep your mind occupied by taking action. In the case of writing a book, keep writing, even one sentence at a time. Take your mind off the mental aspect of becoming an author by keeping your mind occupied. So I really like that, by the way. That's from Kenny Aronoff. Repetition is the preparation for success. Famous drummer, he would know. Number 3. Finally, and this may sound like kind of a buzzkill, especially since I'm guessing you're probably a little excited about your new role as an author, give yourself time to grow into this role. Now, it may be tempting to start telling anyone and everyone, I'm an author, I'm writing a book, and, even maybe start sharing your work with other people. Be very careful about that. I have a whole episode about that called Peanut Gallery. If you want to look on my YouTube channel, you can just go to yourdailywritinghabit.com and find my Peanut Gallery episode, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But, these are all great instincts, and I certainly don't want to mute your excitement. You're an author now, you're writing a book. That's awesome. And I totally get it. But just realize, and I'm speaking from experience, not everyone will get it. Even the people who love you. And it's not that they want to discourage you or cause you emotional harm or anything like that. But the fact is, it's just really hard to describe the experience of being a new author, a new writer, to someone who hasn't been here, someone who hasn't been in our shoes. All most people know, it's just kind of like, what most people know from the news. Well, all most people know about our world is, do you have a publisher? How much money are you making? What kind of advance are you getting? Will your book be in the bookstores? Oh, are you going on a book signing tour? Are you making a lot of money? Are you like an author like Stephen King? Will your books be turned into movies? They don't know our world. They don't know that most authors aren't getting huge advances and making tons of money and going on book tours and having their books turned into movies. That's very rare, but they don't know that. They only know the big stories that they read in the media. So again, these are people who most likely love you and they mean well. They just don't know about our world. And since you're pretty new to it yourself, I'd advise you to be careful about how many people you tell and who you tell about your new identity as an author. It might actually be the best way to protect your new identity as an author and let it grow and let yourself grow into it is maybe don't start announcing it all over social media and which basically opens yourself up to these comments that could ultimately cause you insecurity and anxiety. And, in very worst case scenarios, it might cause you so much anxiety, you end up stopping your project, which would be a tragedy. So just food for thought there. Be careful of who you tell and how many people you tell. And that might be, just think of your new identity as an author as, kind of like this egg that, that you're kind of like sitting on and nurturing and you're making sure it doesn't crack. And I'm sure there's a better analogy there, but you know what I'm saying. So protect your identity as an author and that will help it grow better. Thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I am helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And be sure and drop by my Inc. Authors group on Facebook. Great community of authors and also publishing professionals and resources. So if you're looking for a book cover designer or a website person or an illustrator or a publicist or an independent publisher, we have, many independent publishers themselves in the group, but we also it's a great community of authors who are all out to help one another and kind of share our own insecurities. But that's a good place, talking about our topic today. Inc. Authors on Facebook, that's an okay place for you to go and talk about your new identity as an author. We all get you. We've got your back. So that's a really good safe place, especially if you want to share your work with us. So if you do have that excitement about, this new role, this new identity as an author, and you do want to share it, Inc. Authors, it's a private, closed off group. So, nothing can be shared outside of it. So Inc. Authors on Facebook is a good place for you to share that excitement in a safe place with other people who totally get it. Until tomorrow, happy writing.